Okay, we are. Hey, this might be fun, y'all. I ain't gonna lie. Yeah, this C.H.A.R.M. It's your boy C.H.A.R.M, man. Cash, honest, slang, real money. That's right. That's an acronym that stands for value. People ask, like, what you mean cash, honest, slang, real money? Cash, honest, slang, real money. You know, I'm gonna tell you about what cash, honestly, ain't real money really means. I want you to look at the currency or the dollar of your choice that you use on a daily basis. Right? Think about it. You have different type of payment methods. So you have cash, right? Which is, we know what that is, the Federal Reserve notes, right? Have you ever looked at that dollar? We're going to get back to it, but I want you to, we're going to have a little conversation about money, all right? Since that's the first thing they're going to ask, right? So here on the Smoking Quote, that's the name of the show, by the way, y'all. Because I don't know if this was a fair introduction or not. I just kind of came to it. I'm new to the game. I've just been pushed and pulled on to start doing this. So here I am. Here I am, the one and only C.H.A.R.M. C.H.A.R.M. Cash, honest, slang, real money, the acronym that stands for value. Right here on the Smoking Quote podcast talk radio show. Okay, so when we're talking about money, you have the cash, you have a debit card, a credit card, you have money orders, you have checks, you have all these instruments. If you didn't know, that's what they're called, right? And we got to start learning vocabulary, y'all. We got to start learning certain type of words. Hey, I'm not the best wordsmith in the world. I don't know everything. I'm not the best with language. I make up words. I mispronounce words. I curse. You know, I do a lot of things when it comes to language arts. But I deal with words. I understand words. I understand etymology. I understand, you know, definitions determine off what source that you're allowing to define the word. It determines that matter. So at the end of the day, you know, when we're talking about money and you're talking about instruments, there are what you would call financial instruments, right? So these financial instruments are actually just instruments. They make noises or you use them, right? They're tools, okay? So you have, you know, and again, my shows are not scripted. They're not written. You know, I may get to that, but right now, we're just rolling with the energy on wherever it leads us to, right? But we knew we was going to talk about money, right? And then what we're going to do is we're going to try to understand what money is and what it's not. The value of money, what money should be considered, what you should consider using money. Because you may be using something as an instrument as money, but it's really not money. It does the opposite of what money does. It is to keep you away from money. It is trying to be the middleman or the broker between you and the money, in a sense, right? So with all these different payment methods, you can decide on how you actually pay for things, how you want to be paid, and all of that type of stuff, right? So if you understand what currency is, what money is, what a dollar is, like listen to all these names. You know, when you're talking about money, you can use so many names. You can say instrument, you can say you know, notes, you can say, you know, things that are considered a tender or exchange or some type of form of, you know, passing value from one place to the next, right? Whether it's person to person or ledger to ledger or whatever, right? So instruments, bills of exchanges. You ever heard of that before? What's a bill of exchange? What's a promissory note? You dig what I'm saying? What is, you know, all of these instruments, these financial instruments, these negotiable instruments that we hear about, how are we to use them? Are we allowed to use them? Who created them? The utilization of them? Like, we gotta, you know, talk about money, man. Because I mean, to me, money is something that paper can't really amount to. I'm gonna put it like that. So to me, any format or form of something to be considered money and it's on paper, I don't recognize it as money. You know, I recognize it as what it is, a piece of paper with ink on it, and it's expressing something, right? Or it's something. It's some type of instrument that's illustrating some type of event that's about to happen in real life. You know, I've had many mentors. So when I say my mentors said blah, 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 it may be any one of my mentors throughout my career and journey of my enlightenment, waking up, or whatever the hell you want to call it, right? And I just choose to share, you know. I've been in rooms where they told me to shut the fuck up. One, I got in rooms that I had to learn to shut the fuck up so I can learn something. And sometimes I was in rooms where they told me to shut the fuck up, meaning don't talk to nobody about it. Don't go and talk to your people about it. And at first I was like, well, what the fuck? I wanna, you know what I'm saying? I wanna you know what I'm saying? When you find out something good, you wanna share it. You wanna tell somebody about it. When something good happens, you wanna share it with somebody. So when you get information that's really life-changing or something that you can apply to your life and it's effective, you kind of want to share that with somebody. You dig what I'm saying? I know I would. You know what I'm saying? I want to share that with somebody. But not only that, they was also telling me to kind of like, their perspective was, you know, the STF, you shut the fuck up because, you know, people will debate with you. People will fight you. Like, you know, the truth ain't popular. Like, you know, folks don't, you know, mainly like folks don't be want to hear that shit. Or, you know, you get motherfuckers will fight you. Like, that's what they were basically saying. Like, you know what I mean? Don't talk about it. People gonna fight you anyway for coming to, you know, make them uncomfortable with, you know, taking their lives away from all the things they believe in and replacing it with the truth. Because, you know, you have to allow a lie to believe in something, you know. And we'll talk about that too one day, like the difference between believing and knowing something. You know what I'm saying? So they was like, shut the fuck up, you know, from that perspective too. You know what I'm saying? So they was telling me to shut the fuck up because, you know what I'm saying, like, hey, you don't talk to people about this. You know, there's a group of people that feels that way. You don't talk to people about this. This is not for everybody to know. You know, this is not something that you just, you know, talk about in the public. That's why even this platform and this source for you to get informed on this platform, the Smoking Quote podcast talk radio show, is actually private. It's a members only type of situation. It's private. It's in a private capacity. It's not just out front for the public, but it's private. So it's the same thing with anything else. You know, private and public plays a major part when you don't understand what that is. You also may not understand what money is and what money is not if you don't understand what private and public is. You know what I'm saying? I'm getting nothing but a highway for me, man. Private and public is exactly what it sounds like. Things you will do out in the front where everybody can see. And then private is things that you keep away from everybody's eyes. It's your business or it's somebody else's business between you and someone else. It's you know, it's almost like a secret. You know what I'm saying? That's what private is. So public is of course outside in the park and in the streets with it, out front streets. So when it comes to money, you have public money and you got private money. All right? And it's just that. You gotta imagine money that's considered to be private. And then you have money that's considered to be public, right? And you know, there's a yin and a yang to everything. So there's a flip side of a coin. There's a left, right, up, down, in, out, hot, cold, you know, light, dark, you know, you name it, right? So when it comes to money, again, as I said, in my opinion, can't be considered to be on paper. It can resemble or represent money, but it can't present itself as money. Money can be presented, right? And it also needs nothing to back it except itself. It backs itself to where it damn near can't be owned. You know, it already belongs. You know, and that, ladies and gentlemen, you would say, well, what kind of money is that? You know, and it's always what money has always been, which is gold and silver. That's right, gold and silver, what they'll call sound money, or what they'll call God's money. You know what I'm saying? So when you look in your pocket, you look in your purse and your wallet, your bank account, wherever you have so-called money, is it in that form? Is it gold? Is it silver? Is it? I don't think that many people are running around with gold and silver in their pockets, right? So I say that to say that why not? What happened? Because at one point in time, we actually were, we only dealt with gold and silver as a form of payment or money or, anything that represented our value. You all know it is, indigenous to the land. It is just like we are. It is, a precious metal. It is, it's a natural resource. It's a real deal asset and commodity that, is used and needed. Do you know how much, gold and silver is actually used in everyday things that we use? You know what I'm saying? Like, we use gold and silver every day, besides wearing it as jewelry, because that's most of the time, that's how we see it. We only see gold and silver inside of a, jewelry or, in a costume type of way. Where we wearing it in that way, around our necks, around our, wrists, fingers, fingers, the whole point is gold and silver has always been the actual money. Has always been the actual money.
Fort Knox holds more than $600 billion worth of gold. President Trump wants to know if it's all still there. Since 1937, America's most secure vault has guarded more than half of the nation's gold reserves. So secure, they've only let visitors in 3 times. Successful heists have only existed in James Bond films and cartoons, but questions over whether the gold is still there have fueled conspiracy theories for decades. Now, Trump wants answers, and has just raced to the top of his to-do list. Why? Well, a former senior CIA officer stands accused of stealing hundreds of gold bars worth over $40 million. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent says that annual audits confirmed that all gold is present and accounted for. Even Elon Musk floated the idea of a live-streamed audit to Fort Knox. So far, nothing has materialized. Meanwhile, gold prices have slumped over 17% since the Iran conflict erupted in late February, wiping out most of this year's gains. But even as its price ebbs and flows, gold remains a timeless measure of wealth. President Trump knows that.
All right, now let's talk about that for a little minute. So they say Trump trying to see if the gold's still in Fort Knox, right? And it's supposed to be how much? 600 billion? At least like 600 billion of, all of this gold, over half of the world or the nation's gold reserve. And this was in 1937. They trying to say, they had everything locked down, they were secured since 1937. Now, mind you, give you a little history about the gold shit, right? In 1971, they said that the gold was no longer bagging the dollar. So from 1937 to 1971, if the gold reserve there and it's secured, locked down, and it's back in the U.S. dollar, why in 1971 they ruled that the gold standing behind the dollar was no longer to be? I ain't no conspiracy theorist, but I'm gonna say Think about this shit. You know, why would, if the gold not gone, did they, I mean, just inquiring minds, did they steal the gold in 1971? Because we're in year 2026. So if that's the case, that means from 1971 leading up to today, they just been pressing that paper up, just print more money, more dollars, more USD, what they call fiat. And they put it out there in circulation. But ain't none of that bagged by no gold. So that lets you know that you actually holding in your hand them ones, them 5s, 10s, 20, 50, $100 bill is merely just promissory notes. They IOUs. It's like somebody write you a letter saying, I owe you. I'ma pay you. I promise to pay you. Eventually you're gonna be like, well, when I'm gonna get paid, bro? Where my money at? So I tell people all the time, you know, cash honestly ain't real money because you supposed to cash it out. That's why it's called cash. So what was you supposed to do with the 1s, 5s, 10s, 20, 50s, and 100s? Like if you got all these $100 bills and at the top it say Federal Reserve note. Y'all know before that it used to say silver certificate or gold certificate. That's what it used to say at the top. Now when you look at your dollar, it only say Federal Reserve note. So what that tell you? If it just say Federal Reserve note and they don't say silver certificate no more. See, a certificate you used to get, it's a certificate, meaning like it's like a, you know, I don't want to say a standby letter of credit, but it's basically a promissory note, meaning that it's a bill of exchange. You can exchange that bill for what it's worth. So we supposed to have been taking that cash, these $100 bills, and running down to the Federal Reserve Bank and exchanging it for money. Because it ain't money, it never was money, it never will be money. It's just fiat, a promissory note, or IOU letter. If I write a letter saying I owe you, that's basically what your 1s, 5s, and 10s is. But some people don't actually know this. You know, they don't believe this. But because, you know, you can go outside and you spend $1, so you like, nigga, I can use the cash. I can go use the cash. You feel me? But when you start understanding value versus, you know, when you start understanding exchanges, commerce, trade, stuff like that, you realize there's a such thing called buying power. So you gotta think about what's the buying power behind the dollar if it got so much value. Yeah, it don't lose value. You know, they try to explain inflation to say, basically, $100 is always gonna be $100, right? But the whole thing is it's not bagged by nothing real. It's just the belief and the faith that you got in the dollar, and the person that you giving it to, and the person that getting paid believe in it, accept it as value. So that's why it works. But at the end of the day, it ain't got no buying power because when you look at the ratio of money, the dollar, that shit got 3% buying power, bro. So that's like $1 is 3 cents. So every dollar is actually 3 cents. So you mean to tell me $1 million in cash ain't nothing but like 30 bands? That's crazy when you think about that. That's how much buying power it is. And then it's losing at least 20% plus, you know. And that's even on the low ball end. It's losing that much value every year. You feel me? But they're talking about, you know, you even hear, you know, the politicians, president, whatever, you know, say that they gon', you know, save and preserve the value of the dollar because other nations and stuff that want to do business with us, they gonna get taxed 100% tariff, right? And when you understand that, you gonna be like, well, hold on. If you owe me money, how you gonna tax me? Because, you know, we got a national debt in the trillions. You can go to Google right now and put in national debt clock. Google that. That's a homework I get to you. Go on Google and type in national debt clock and look at that motherfucker. Like look at that. These are real live numbers. This algorithm is live, like the International Stock Exchange. So every time money being traded, this is, you know, supposed to be calculating everything. So that's every register and cashier or clerk that's ringing in something and printing out receipts. is going onto this digital platform, database, ledger, whatever it is for everything that's going on. So you take a look at it and see how much the U.S. national debt is. It's in the trillions of dollars. So if we doing business with other nations and we owe them money or we in debt with them, how we gonna tax them? How we gonna, you know what I'm saying? It's like, I can easily say I don't accept your dollar, I don't salute your dollar no more, cause you owe me. And I ain't accepting that dollar cause that dollar ain't bagged by nothing. So, you know, I bring up all this to say, because y'all know I'm a sound money advocate. Meaning, you know what I'm saying, like the sound money is basically precious metals, gold and silver. But you got to understand how technology has developed, how much done happened over the years. Because, see, something real special happened in 2019. Yeah, I'm giving y'all a little money history, man, because this the cash earnest lane, real money. One and only C.H.A.R.M, the acronym that stands for value. Right here on the Smoking Quote podcast talk radio show. Dropping a few jewels in. I want y'all to pick up what I'm putting down, but in 2019, something else special happened when it came to the world of finance, right? There's something called, and I want you to Google this too, the same way you went and looked at the national debt clock. I want you to Google gold backs, all right? Now, anybody that know me, if you know me personally, if you know me, you have conversations with me, I've been talking about this for years. I'm a distributor of it. I promote it, I brand it, I market it, and I show people the mechanics of gold backs, how it works, why you should deal with it, what it is, how you get your hands on it, and how you utilize it. Gold backs is, just imagine your cash, right? Your cash come in ones, fives, tens, 20s, 50s, 100s, right? Imagine if the dollars and the 5s and 10s and $100 bills was made out of 24 karat gold. You'll be like, how's that? Made out of 24 karat gold, right? You got a $1 bill and so on. So it comes in the same denominations like your cash, but it's 24 karat gold. So it's in a format to where you can exchange it. You can use it just like cash. You can spend this, all right? Now, you know, when you compare it to the USD dollar, it has value to it. So like a $1 gold back, just to give you an idea of the ratio, I'm not being specific and precise here because, you know, it could be a few points off, but let's say $1 gold back is worth $10. That's the ratio of it, all right? $1 in gold back is $10. You dig what I'm saying? So if you had a $100 bill, that means you got like $1,000, you got a band, you got a stack, you got $1,000. Okay? You got $1,000 if you got a $100 bill gold back. Now these gold backs, they not gold plated. It ain't no novelty. It ain't, you know, they really not even collectibles. You do have collectibles, you know, the type of stuff that you put up in your closet, put it in the vault, you know, you leverage it, you don't sell it, you know, you treat it like a fine art, like a expensive piece of art when it's a collectible. It come in a little plastic sleeve and it has what you call numismatic value to it, right? I ain't talking about that. I'm talking about a gold back where you can spend it. So if I give you $1 of gold back, now it's thin, real thin like a piece of paper, but it's like real 24 karat gold foil, if you will. You feel what I'm saying? And you can spend this, man. All it take is for you to say, I want to spend in gold backs, and it just take for the person who's getting paid to say, I want to get paid in gold backs. That's all it take. Dealing with this is actually private. For all you private people out there that want to do business privately, gold is a constitutional money for one. And it's private. You know what I'm saying? And it hedges against inflation. It actually cut out the central banks. So you don't need the U.S. Treasurer, the state, the Federal Reserve, none of the, these entities to back this currency or this dollar. Why? Because it's backed up by the gold that it's made out of. So if you're looking at a dollar, gold back, it'll be like 1,000th of a troy ounce of 24 karat gold. Man, you're gonna learn a lot more about these gold backs, talking with me, dealing with me right here on this Smoking Quote podcast, talk radio show. We're gonna learn about money. We're gonna know how to get it. We're gonna get some. And we're gonna spread it low because it's enough to go around for everybody. And we're gonna get money, the real money, the God money, the money we've been dealing with, But in 2019, what occurred was there was this new technology that came out. Really no technology is new. Just put that out there to you. No technology is new, and there ain't nothing new on the sun. All of this stuff is just returning back to us, y'all. It's returning back to the original form of, what was really going on from the beginning. You know what I'm saying? History will repeat itself. So in 2019, you can look this up too. It's called vacuum deposition technology. And y'all know I'm my shows are not scripted, so I'm really freestyling. This is all off the top of the head. I'm not reading anything. I will start to put programming together a little bit for my shows, so I can make sure I touch on certain subject matter that I want to. But at the end of the day, I'm just I'm spilling to you. So in 2019, the vacuum deposition technology came out where they able to take a bar of gold, like let's take a brick of gold, a kilo of gold, and break it down and slice it up into 1,000 pieces. They try to do that digitally with like crypto and Bitcoin and all that stuff to where, this fraction of a coin or a token represents this much in gold, right? But that's in the cloud, it's in the database on the electronic ledger. People want to feel it and touch it and take it home like they love her. You dig what I'm saying? I want to take my girl home and be able to touch her and feel her and see her and take it home with me. So with gold backs, you actually able to have at an affordable price. Anybody can afford this now. Because if you got a $10 bill, you can buy one gold back. Most people see a gold back and be like, man, if that's real 24 karat gold, I can't afford it. Or that, hey, they feel like they need permission to deal with it. Because that's what's been going on with us. We've been going through all of this involuntary servitude and shit. To where it's like if we ain't get permission to see it on TV or see a commercial or heard it on the radio or somebody, from your so-called superior or who you assign as having authority over you in your life don't give you permission to say it's cool, you don't think you can do it. You don't want to do nothing and get in trouble, right? And that's real. But at the end of the day, when you understand what it's about, when you're talking about public and private, when you're talking about free and being enslaved, that's when the conversation, grow a curve. But at the end of the day, these gold backs are able to be used. There's also plenty of merchants and businesses that actually accept gold backs. Like they allow it to be a payment method just like anything else, just like your cash, your debit cards, your credits, your Zelle, your Cash App, money orders, checks, blah, 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 blah. All of these are payment methods, even Bitcoin. You don't ever went into the store and seen the Bitcoin machine next to the ATM machine? Y'all ain't seen that? Y'all got to be not seen that. That's old news. So imagine having an ATM where you could put cash in there and convey it over the gold backs. Because see, that's what you want to do. You want to take your cash and make them 24 karat gold. How? You take your cash, which is trash, and you exchange it for the gold. You know what I'm saying? You exchange it for the gold and then you gain your buying power, man. You able to go spend bread and you spend a little to get a lot. With the cash, you got to spend a lot to get a little. The buying power takes you up to 100 to 200%, man. That's what you're doing. In some areas, what they call arbitrage, you can go in different markets or different places, and something that might be worth $10 in gold is now $20 and worth $20 in gold. You know what I'm saying? It's just like, what you call arbitrage is when you go into a different market and you're able to sell a product or sell something with a premium, with some type of cap on top of it. All right? You gotta look at it like, if you buy something at wholesale and then you go sell it for retail, you made a profit. Like, let's say a box of cigarettes out the store. If you buy a box of cigarettes, it may cost you whatever, $12, however much it costs. Now, if you took it into a different market, like inside of correctional facilities or something like that, right? Them cigarettes gonna sell for a lot more than it would sell for coming out of your corner store, your local corner store. You get what I'm saying? That's called arbitrage. That's the same thing goes on with these gold backs. In different areas, they may go for a different price. But as you understand, there's always platforms, communities, networks that you're able to become associated with. Therefore, you'll be able to get certain assets, certain benefits and opportunities by being inside of these networks. And that's something I'm gonna lead you to. I'm gonna show you how to get your hands on some real money, because cash, honestly, ain't real money. So we want to take the cash and convert it over to what? Gold and silver.
What?
You want to switch it over to gold and silver. Exactly. That's exactly what I said. And then now you can use the gold, because they're gonna be the next question. Because people ask me all the time, well, shit, bro, if I go ahead and say I spend $5,000 on our gold backs. Now, and they get you, if you exchange $5,000, you can get it in any type of denominations you want. You can get hundreds, you can get fives, tens, you can get ones, just like your cash, bro. And it's 24 karat gold. Then you gonna ask, well, where I'm gonna be able to spend it at? Shout out to Goldback Incorporated. If you go to goldback.com, right? This is free game, free promo. You can go on there and actually go to the map that they have and search merchants. Put in your zip code to where you stay at, and it'll show you all of the merchants and stores that accept the Goldbacks right there in your area. Not only that, you can see it worldwide, all across the country. If I'm not mistaken, it's between $300 to $400 million worth of gold backs in circulation right now. So if this technology came out and they launched gold backs back in 2019, you might be a little late to the party if it's 2026 and you just not getting rich. It's 2026, man, and getting your hands on them gold backs would be the best thing to do. Why? Because I told you why. I gave you several reasons why. The cash is losing its value. You want to get something that has the buying power that you need. You want to have something that preserves your wealth. All the investments that I ever made in the precious metals, I done actually preserved the wealth. I still have that money. And let me tell you something else. I can turn you on to a platform, to a space where you able to actually take out lines of credit on the gold and silver that you hold. Okay? That's what you want to get into. Now, and that ain't no bureaucratic way.
What?
Let's go here, because I know you feel like this.
That's great, but how does that help me? Is there some way that I can use gold and silver to pay for things? Again, the answer is yes. In 2011, the state of Utah passed the Utah Legal Tender Act. This made Utah the first state in the U.S. to return gold and silver back to their proper status as money. In response to this landmark legislation, and to help people take advantage of the benefits of real money, the United Precious Metals Association, or UPMA, was born. UPMA makes it easy to use gold and silver as real money to pay for real things every day. Right now, you can buy food, pay your mortgage, shop online, and even pay your taxes using real money, gold and silver. For more information, visit upma.org. United Precious Metals Association. Protect your wealth. Return to prosperity.